Are we really going to start getting into a pissing contest with the United States of America in an economic war here? A tariff back and forth? Okay, well, let's talk about all this crazy shit going on here in Canada since you are Market Mania of Canada. Where
Yeah,
do we
yeah.
want to start? Do we want to start with that bastard who pretended like he was stepping down, or do we want to start with Trump taking over the country?
The governor, you mean?
Ah, man.
Stepping down?
Well, the governor said he was going to quit if and when something happens and they pick a new leader in he didn't say election. He said something that sounds like an election. So he was like in a countrywide some form of event, like
Yeah.
not voting, but something
Start
has
with
to
Trump.
happen.
Start with Trump. 51st state. Luke, go. We want to hear from Luke more today than us, Daryl. Okay, Luke,
I'm
51st
asking
state.
him.
Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really going to happen. I think probably a lot of conservatives in Canada, like real right conservatives, would probably agree, like, yeah, that would be a good thing. And like, if you take out the artificially drawn line, as Trump says, then maybe it would, like, hypothetically. But Trump says a lot of things that just contradict itself, like all politicians, basically. But Canada actually becoming the 51st state in reality, like, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
What would it look like though, if you would say, okay, it's going to happen? What would you think the ideal scenario would be like?
I mean, the ideal scenario, I just can't imagine it happening, though. I mean, it would the best I can imagine is like Alberta joining as the 51st state, but I
Yeah.
could never imagine like the entire of Canada doing it. And obviously that would be for the resources, right? The natural resources. It would be so that they could basically just have that relationship with the US, because obviously a lot of natural gas and, well, pretty much all of the natural gas and pretty much all of the oil is going south to the United States. But, one thing that was correct that even Pierre pointed out in the interview with Peterson is the fact that it's sold at like heavy discounts. I mean, that's
Heavy
why the industry
discounts.
in Alberta is like so garbage as it is right now, because like you would have expected when oil was over $100 a barrel, like it would be booming in Alberta, and that was the narrative, right, to get people to buy real estate in Calgary at that time, like a couple of years ago. But
Ontarians.
I knew people in the industry, and it was not like that at all.
No.
Not like
Well, right
the
now,
price of oil, like the booming business of the oil companies, you mean? I mean, at
Yeah,
one point it
yeah,
was
like
like that.
yeah, yeah, it was like that was back in 2014, 2015.
Yeah. I think
well,
you're
and
right, though. Alberta would be the one place, if there was any province that the US would want and that they would want to leave, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That would be the one
I mean, can
province.
you imagine Quebec
No,
joining the US?
no,
Like, I can't envision that at all.
no.
not a
But
chance.
I mean, they do really screw us on this deal. Like we do pay way, or they do pay way below market. And then not only that, they refine it and sell it back to us at a profit as well. Right. And so
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw, but China kind of said, if they're gonna dick you guys around, like we're interested in buying all of your stuff and getting deeper in with Canada. And
Hmm.
like I keep saying, we're so resource rich, we should be like Dubai. Like we should,
Yeah.
if they're going to tax us 25%, why can't we just, yeah, like send it to China or send it to Germany? Or there's a million places that want this stuff. And we're even begging during COVID, and that son of a bitch, he cock blocked everything, right? And all these, right? Um, do, does it like, is he what is this just a big negotiation to get our price even down further? Like what's the goal, do you think, of this whole thing?
It's I don't even know. Like I've kind of been took back by the way Trump has acted, like since basically he's been handed the mic and he won the election. Like it's crazy, like some of the shit that he's coming out with. And like I know a lot of people who support him and I know a lot of people who hate him as well. So I see both sides of it. And like I'm not like a Trump fan. Like I think some things he does are good and other things bad. But when you look at like I mean, a lot of the people who hate him, like they kind of describe him like a dictator or an authoritarian. Well, I mean, the way he's acting and saying these things definitely is coming across like an authoritarian. But obviously, his supporters are really loyal, and that's part of the issue. And he really is good when he's like handed the mic. So. I mean, that's part of the problem as
So,
well.
so Trump for Canada, good or bad for our economy?
Oh, bad. What? Really bad. Yeah, like it's not going to be good. I mean, the tariffs, the 25% tariffs, I've already heard from people who have businesses in Canada and they've outright said if the tariffs come, like I'm leaving. I'm taking my business. I have to leave. Like it just wouldn't work. My business operation would not work. So, I think that's a little bit of an empty threat. I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't really think people understand tariffs either. Like, it's not like America wins when they put in a big tariff. Like, somebody has to pay that cost, and it's the people in the States. Obviously, Canada, the idea is that they're going to make it like everything's just going to move to America, and some stuff like to the States would move back to the States, I'm sure. But how much is that going to cost? And then that's going to be built into the price of the goods if they're sold in the US. So it's not like a simple thing that you can just click your fingers and then move everything back to the States and everything's going to be great. I mean, I find it kind of hilarious, to be honest, this whole nationalism thing, because it's like with the canal in Panama, like Trump is going, oh, yeah, like most of those ships are going to the US. Yeah, what are they full of? They're full of Chinese stuff. Like, so the ships are going to LA and then they're coming round and going through the canal to like Miami and Fort Lauderdale, full of Chinese goods. Like the majority of goods that are passing through are Chinese. And then you've got like he was saying, and he said some things that like are just totally wrong. And that's where it's like, man, this is I don't like this. Like I don't like the way he's acting at all. But it's just like and with Canada and it's like, geez, yeah.
He's a
Anyways.
little naive, I think, in some areas. And so he talks because
Mhm.
it sounds good, but he doesn't really understand. Like, I'm pretty sure I heard that 70% of US imports are from Canada. Like, it's a big number. So it's
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
can't just say I'm going to tax 25% of it. Like that would actually punish the US economy probably more than anybody else at first, right? So I think he
Exactly.
and the whole
Exactly.
51st state, whatever it would be, referendum annexation, whatever you want to call it, like there's no real legal way to do that, right? Like it's just like you've got all sorts of international laws in place. Like it would just have to be Canada that would decide to do that, not like any other way about it. So anyways, he's good at what he does though.
Well, he's
Yeah,
certainly got
yeah.
everybody here stirring around, talking about this thing,
Yeah.
making videos, freaking
Yeah.
out, getting on the defensive, and some, I guess, are starting to get on the offensive. Like, I don't know if you saw TK's buddy Jag Meat. Look, here's the deal. If you really care about protecting our country and Canadian jobs, commit to responding to Trump's threats with retaliatory tariffs. I've already committed to doing so. Will you, Pierre? And I mean, he's a big tough guy and he's, all for Canadians, obviously, right? He's definitely looking out for the best interests of everybody. But like,
Mhm.
are we really going to start getting into a pissing contest with the United States of America in an economic like war here? A tariff back and forth?
Are you looking for the best merch store on the planet? Well, we got the shit for you. Coming in at low prices where we barely make any money off of whatsoever, you can get the greatest real estate merchandise on this platform. Just look at this very flamboyant man putting on this great stuff. He looks great, he's dancing great, and boy does he look sexy in that merchandise. I tell you, buy this for anybody, you buy this for yourself. You will be not only repping the greatest Canadian real estate podcast in this world, but you will also be looking hella good doing it.